You have today's newspaper, Hindu? Anyone? No. Hard copy. Sure? No one has a hard copy. Everyone has turned digital now. Hmm. I think this is a different edition. This is no, this is different. Just check. Huh? No, I think this is different actually then. Oh, was it a holiday yesterday? Today, Raksha Bandhan. You have a Hindu edition? The Delhi? Huh. Just send it. Yeah. Yours said, I think it's different edition. I don't know. It's some school edition or something mentioned there. Okay. If you see today's newspaper, especially the business page, what generally happens is on Mondays, there's no business page. On Mondays, you generally get this a different page called as Money Wise, which generally is not very important as far as your UPSC exam is concerned. So, Monday's paper, as far as economy is concerned, you can take an off. But not from the perspective of other subjects like obviously polity, IR, and so on. Only thing is that Mondays you do not have a separate business page. Okay. So I guess in the last class we had stopped the topic of we were supposed to start the topic of printing of notes, right? Did I show you the role of RBI, the different multifaceted role? Did you already take it down? Huh. But did you take that mind map? Just may I have highlighted all the different roles of the RBI, right? Okay, right. First one, role of RBI in printing notes. Role of RBI in printing notes, and please mark that as important. That's the same thing only. Role of RBI in printing bank notes. That's the first one. Role of RBI in printing bank notes. Okay. So here we are going to discuss everything that one needs to know with respect to printing of bank notes. Remember, as a school going kid, you had a number of questions related to printing of notes. Questions such as, on what basis does RBI print notes? Or questions like, can RBI print unlimited notes, right? You'll get answers to all those questions in today's class. So by the end of today's class, we'll be done with printing of notes. We'll be done with printing of 1 rupee notes as well as the minting of coins. So the entire class is about printing of notes as well. And if time permits, we'll probably move to the next topic. That is role of RBI as a banker to the government. Okay. So with respect to printing of notes, right? Generally what happens is when you say notes, right? In India, you have notes of different denomination, right? What are the notes of different denominations in India? Like you would probably have a 1 rupee note, yes, or you would probably have 10 rupee note, or 20 rupee note, a 50 rupee note, a 100 rupee note, a 2. So how does that matter? No, no, no. It is not going to make the board unworkable, right? Just because a fly is sitting. Yeah, that's logical. Okay. So you have 200 rupee note, and you also have 500 rupee note. And you knew that earlier we used to have 2000 rupee note. That 2000 rupee note has been taken out of circulation. All of these notes, in layman terms, all these notes, we call them as currency notes, right? In layman terms, we call them as currency notes, but understand, legally speaking, in terms of law, if RBI prints notes, if RBI prints notes, this note, we generally don't call it as currency note legally. If RBI is printing note, legally speaking, the note will be called as bank note. So that's what I said. Role of RBI in printing what? Bank notes. So who prints 1 rupee note? Remember I showed you in the previous class, 1 rupee note is printed by the government. So that way, 1 rupee note, we don't call it as the bank note. Legally speaking, as per the law, 1 rupee note, we consider 1 rupee note as nothing but a rupee coin. Like legally speaking, 1 rupee note is same as 1 rupee coin. So when we say notes in India, we say bank notes. And notes means all the notes printed by the Reserve Bank of India. So if I make a statement something like this, RBI has the sole authority to print bank notes. Will the statement be true? Yes, it will be true. RBI has a sole authority to print bank notes. What is a bank note? Bank note is a note printed by RBI. So obviously RBI has a sole authority to print bank notes. Clear with that? Okay, so please write down. All the notes printed by the RBI, all the notes printed by the RBI, it's already, okay, we have already discussed this, is it? Okay, fine. Next, right? Nodal agency. Nodal agency. Okay, just pay attention quickly. So prior to 1935, that is before the RBI was established, before 1935, with respect to printing of notes, remember I told you that it was done by a entity called as Controller General of Currency. And with respect to the role of banker to the government, who was doing this role of banker to the government? Imperial Bank of India. So this role of central bank was done by two different entities. What we did post 1935, it is now the RBI, which is doing both, which is printing notes, and RBI is also acting like a banker to the government. But what we have done is, within the RBI, we have stated two different departments. One department role is only to act as banker to the government. Another department role is to only in printing of notes. Like within RBI, we have a department called as, look at the word, issue department. The role of issue department is simply to print note. It will not do anything else apart from printing notes. Similarly, in RBI, you have another department which is called as banking department. This banking department will not do any other role except acting like a banker. So the role which was earlier performed by Controller General of Currency is now being performed by issue department. The role which was earlier performed by Imperial Bank of India is now performed by banking department. So when I say that RBI has a sole authority to print notes, but within RBI, who has the sole authority? Issue department. This is very important. Okay. So quickly take this down. So write nodal authority. I think nodal agency you mentioned. Put hyphen and write. The issue department of the RBI. The issue department of the RBI has the sole authority. The issue department of the RBI has the sole authority to print bank notes. To print bank notes. Okay, just take this down. Parth is not there today. Parth. Is this clear? Okay, fine. Next, write legal framework. Legal framework. Put hyphen and write. Okay, when I say legal framework means under which law are the notes printed in India? Any guesses? Which law? It is the RBI Act 1934. So legal framework, put hyphen and write RBI Act 1934. So all the provisions related to printing of bank notes, you'll find them within the RBI Act 1934. So the RBI Act 1934 not only establishes RBI, it also says on what basis has the issue department, on what basis the issue department should print the notes. Next one. Design of bank notes. Design of bank notes. Okay, so you must have seen the bank notes of different denomination, right? Like 10 rupee, 20 rupee, 100 rupee. On each of this banknote, you'll get different designs. Like on some banknote, you'll get the design of a red fort. On some banknote, you'll get the Sanchi Stupa, or you'll also get the design of Rani Ki Vav, right? There are some unique designs that you get on the banknote. With respect to design of the banknote, the design is recommended by the Central Board of RBI. Remember, we covered about Central Board of RBI. Central Board of RBI will recommend as to what should be the design. Ultimately, it is approved by the central government. Central government will approve this. So recently, this was in news. Just around 2 years back, there was a chief minister in one of the state. I won't take names. There's a chief minister in one of the state. Because the Indian economy was not doing that great 2 years back, especially in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic, the chief minister mentioned, or he suggested, that when we print notes in India, on that notes, let's have images of Hindu gods and goddesses. Like we can have images of Lord Ganesha or Goddess Lakshmi. So Lord Ganesha is because when we start something new, we always pray to Lord Ganesha, or Goddess Lakshmi because she is considered as a goddess of wealth. So he said let's try printing notes with the images of Hindu gods and goddesses. Who knows, the Indian economy can start growing. Okay. But ultimately, tell me who has to decide on the design of the banknotes? Can the government do that? No. The recommendation has to come from Central Board. Okay. So please write. Design of the banknote recommended by Central Board of RBI, recommended by the Central Board of RBI, and approved by the central government. And approved by the central government. Next, demonetization. Okay. How do you think demonetization takes place in India? Who has the power to undertake demonetization? Bharat? President. But you know that president in India is only a nominal head, no? He is not the real head. So who has the power to declare that a note of a particular denomination will no longer be a legal tender? Central government. Anyone else? Sure. On what basis can we declare that a particular note is no longer used in India? Like which happened in 2016, no? So who has the power? No. Parliament will not come into play here. Remember I told you about design of banknote. Who recommends the design? Central Board. But approved by who? Central government. But same can be said about the demonetization as well. So the procedure to demonetize the notes should originate from where? From Central Board of RBI, but ultimately final approval is by central government. This became very controversial in 2016. Why? Because opposition party claims that the proposal to demonetize the notes did not come from RBI. Government on its own declared demonetization. So this had proved to be very controversial in the recent past. In fact, the case even went to the Supreme Court also. Okay. So just know that the procedure for demonetization is same as the procedure for designing of banknotes. Okay. So demonetization, please write. Recommended by Central Board. Recommended by Central Board and approved by the central government. And approved by central government. Is that clear? Okay. Next, right? Denomination of banknotes. Denomination of banknotes. Aditya, what do you think is the minimum denomination of banknote? Minimum. I hope you know what is denomination, na? What's the value of a banknote? Minimum value, what it can be. I'm not asking what is right now, but what can be the minimum denomination. Hmm? Minimum denomination of banknote can be rupees 2. Why are we not saying 1 rupee? Because 1 rupee is not even a bank note. We don't call it as bank note. We call 1 rupee note as a rupee coin. So the minimum bank note, the denomination of bank note which RBI can print is rupees 2. It cannot print something below 2 rupees. Varun, maximum denomination, what can be? I'm not asking what is. Like presently, what is the maximum denomination of bank note in India? 500 presently. But what can be the maximum denomination? And please don't tell me infinity because there is a limit. There's a limit. Huh? 10,000? Anil? Soumya? Varun, how did you guess 10,000? You read somewhere? Yeah, Varun is right. Maximum denomination of note in India can be rupees 10,000. Swarnim could be print हुआ है 10,000 rupee note. When? Okay, please understand 10,000 rupee bank note has been printed twice in India, but it was in the past. Both the times they were printed and both the times they were demonetized. Both the times they were taken out of circulation. All of us have seen the 2016 demonetization. No? That was not India's first demonetization. That was actually India's third demonetization. Samaya? So I can just show you the 10,000 rupee note. This is the actual 10,000 rupee note which was printed in India. This note was printed and demonetized twice. Once in 1938 and second one is 1954. This is that 10,000 rupee note. Obviously, उस time पे its value is very high. It's like now, if you are printing something like 1 lakh rupee ka note, its value is something like that. Clear? Vaishali, let's say I want to go to market to purchase a iPhone. Its value is 1.5 lakh. So if RBI is printing this 10,000 rupee note, don't you think it is easier for me to carry 15 such notes and purchase iPhone? It's very easy for me. But RBI is no longer printing. Now maximum denomination note is 500. Imagine if I have to carry 1.5 lakh rupees, it does not fit into my pocket. It's very difficult for me to carry 500 rupee note to purchase an iPhone. I would probably have to carry a suitcase. Why is RBI making my life difficult by not printing a high denomination note? I hope you got my question. Let RBI print higher denomination note. It's very good for everyone. Na? It will make our life easier. We can easily go and purchase a lot of good things from the market without having to carry too much of cash. But why is RBI not printing it? Take your time. Shiva? Why is RBI not printing high denomination note? Socho? The problem with high denomination note is actually it is very easy to store as well. Let's say people are taking bribe. When people take bribe, they always demand bribe in higher denomination notes. So if you have a 10,000 rupee note, people can easily take a bribe of 1 lakh very easily. Like 10 notes, they can easily take a bribe, keep it in their pocket. Not just that, if you print higher denomination note, it is also very easy for the people to store that black money. For example, they have a, let's say, cot. Under the cot, they can easily store a higher denomination note. But if you have a smaller denomination note, right, it becomes quite difficult for the people to store that black money in terms of cash. So 2016 demonetization. Why was it done? You must have heard of Prime Minister Modi's speech, na? It was a crackdown on black money corruption. So we are not printing higher denomination note basically to check the black money on the corruption. Clear with that? And not to speak of, if you have a higher denomination note, you must have witnessed this problem, na? Ki we find it very problematic to convert that into change. You must have seen that problem, na? If you have a 1,000 rupee note, sorry, 2,000 rupee note, and you have it and you want to purchase something, but you're not been able to purchase it only because the other person does not has change. वो एक मूवी है, देखा है आपने अक्षय कुमार का? He has this 2,000 rupees. What is that movie? Huh? There was a movie. I think Hera Fairy or something like that. He has this 2,000 rupee note. He travels with that 2,000 rupee note. He purchases everything, but he does not pay anywhere. है ना? देखा होगा आपने. So it makes our life difficult. For him, the life was good, but for us, it becomes our life difficult because that was a movie actually. Getting it, everyone? Okay. So please write minimum denomination of note. Yeah, good number. Minimum denomination of note is rupees 2. Maximum denomination of note is rupees 10,000. And please write this, that 10,000 rupee note was printed and demonetized twice. ₹10,000 note was printed and demonetized twice in 1938 and 1954. And please add on to that, the demonetization in 2016. The demonetization in 2016 was India's. The demonetization 2016 was India's third demonetization. Was India's third demonetization. Next, right? Why do people accept bank notes? Remember, we have already covered this. Why do people accept bank notes? Under that, first point, people accept banknotes because of its universal acceptance. Because of its universal acceptance. That is, people have confidence. That is, people have confidence that banknotes accepted by them. People have confidence that banknotes accepted by them would also be accepted by others. Banknotes accepted by them would also be accepted by others. Next, second point, under this only, in the bracket you can write that movie name. The last class we covered that, na? Shawshank Redemption in the bracket, so that you are able to remember that. If you're not been able to remember if you don't know the spelling, write that in a bracket so that you are able to recollect that example while studying. Okay? So this is the first reason. Second reason, please write. Second reason, please write. All the bank notes are declared as legal tender. all the bank notes are declared as legal tender under the RBI Act 1934. All the bank notes are declared as legal tender under the RBI Act 1934. So obviously there's a technical word now. The technical word is legal tender. So we'll understand what exactly do we mean by the word legal tender. Okay. So when we say legal tender, let's see from the perspective of a layman first. From a common man perspective, what exactly is a legal tender? Anyone knows what is legal tender? When 2016 government declared that 500 rupee note, 1000 rupee note will cease to be legal tender. So what's the meaning of legal tender? Huh? No, it's not approved by central. Okay. When we say something is a legal tender, it means obligation to accept it. For example, let's say this is me and this is a shopkeeper, for example. So I, let's say, purchase something from the shopkeeper. After I purchase something from the shopkeeper, in return, I have to pay him something, right? Let's say I am making him payment in terms of bank notes. If I'm making payment in terms of bank note, so when we say legal tender, it basically means that there is obligation on shopkeeper to compulsorily accept the bank notes. You purchase anything from anyone in India. For that, if you are making payment in terms of notes, they are legally bound to accept it. They cannot reject it. For example, shopkeeper cannot demand the payment in gold or dollar. He cannot do that. Like shopkeeper cannot tell me, no, I will not accept a note. You pay me in terms of gold or you pay me in terms of dollar. He cannot do that. Compulsorily, the person should accept the note. Is this part clear to everyone? Okay. Now this is a layman's perspective, a common man's perspective of what exactly is legal tender. But in technical words, like legally, what is legal tender? There are two words, creditor and debtor. Yes. Shiva, who is a creditor? One who gives loans. Okay, I take it. One who gives loans. That is one way of looking at it. Or the other way of looking at creditor is one to whom money is owed. I think this is another way of looking at it. Someone to whom money is owed. You have to pay him some money. You owe him some money. Then a person will become a creditor. Bank gives you loans. Bank will become a creditor. But think of it. I purchase something from the shopkeeper. I owe some money to the shopkeeper or not? So in this case, who is the shopkeeper? Shopkeeper also will become creditor, no? But is shopkeeper actually giving me loans? He's not giving me loans, but I owe him money. Same way, debtor is someone who takes loans. Someone who takes loans is a debtor. Or debtor is one who actually owes money. Getting this point? Now, for example, there's one way to look at it. First scenario. So there's a bank. Bank gives me loans. And I have to repay the loans. So by that logic, as we covered, the bank here will become what? Creditor. And I will become a debtor. Second scenario is okay. So let's say there's a cab driver. For example, this cab driver offers a ride to me. He is actually not giving me loans. He's offering me a ride. So cab driver is someone to whom money is owed. So in this particular case, the cab driver will become a creditor and I will become a debtor. समझ आया? So when I say there's another way of looking at what is legal tender. Legal tender is a money. I'm repeating. Legal tender is a money which a creditor is required to accept in settlement of his claims. Settlement of his claims. Like he has offered me something. In return for that, I'm giving him money. He is required, legally bond, mandated under the law to compulsorily accept it. The creditor cannot say to me, don't pay me banknote, pay me gold or dollar. He cannot say to me that. समय आया सबको? Everyone? So please take this down quickly. Shopkeeper will become creditor, na? Creditor is someone to whom you owe him money. You have to give him money. So because shopkeeper is selling me something, shopkeeper will become a creditor. I will become a debtor. Yes, students attending online, do you have any doubts? Yes, Pallavi, which part is not very clear? Can you tell me which part, Pallavi? Everyone a second now. Okay. So this is what is legal tender. Okay. So always understand in India, if you are making payment in terms of notes to anyone across India, they are bound under the law to compulsorily accept it. If they are rejecting it, it means it's a violation of the law itself. Clear? Okay. So let's see one of the previous year question. It's under the RB Act 1934. Okay, all of you just have a look at this question. Ashima, that thing is different. This is different. Uh, which one of the following statement correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? Ashu? The money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claims. I think it's a very easy question, everyone. Okay? Chalo. Next, right? Find Pallavi, a light in big words. Okay. Next, you can write down. Basis for printing notes. Basis for printing notes. So here we are getting into the actual discussion of how notes are actually printed. Okay. So here, before we get into the basis of printing notes, we'll discuss two basic things, right? Under this, basics to understand. Basics to understand. Basics to understand. Number one is asset and liability. Asset and liability. And the second one is concept of bonds. Concept of bonds. BOND. Concept of bonds. So before we actually discuss how does RBI print notes, we'll discuss what is asset, what is liability, and what is the meaning of a bond. And then we'll get into the discussion of on what basis does the RBI print the notes. Let's start with the meaning of asset. Okay. Let's define what is asset. Generally, when you come across some economic terms, na, we tend to get afraid, saying that this is an economic concept. But do not be afraid of economic concepts, because most of the time, the terms that you come across economy, they're not actually economic terms. They are mostly simple English words. Same can be said about asset and liability. What is an asset? Asset is something that one owns. If you own something, something which belongs to you, that is asset. Most simple way of looking at it. Like people may purchase a car. Car from them is an asset. It is owned by them. Or let's say people might purchase a house. House is an asset. People may have a mobile phone. Like you have a mobile phone with you. It is yours. So it is your asset. So understand, anything that you own is always your asset. What you should not see, is number one, you should not see whether it is giving you returns or not. You may purchase an asset which might not give you any which might not give you any kind of returns at all. You might not be able to earn profit from it. But still, because it belongs to you, it is an asset. I'll give you one example, later you give me examples. I purchased a old painting, for example, of Raja Ravi Verma. I put it on my wall. Apart from aesthetic pleasure of looking at the painting, it is not giving me any return. Does it mean it's no longer my asset? It is still my asset, because the painting is an asset. Do you get the point? So name any such asset which you think is an asset but does not give you returns. कुछ कोई मुनाफा ही नहीं मिलता है आपको. कोई भी एग्जांपल. Okay, then something else. Good. Furniture. Or let's say I purchase a share. I purchased a share last year. This year I'm just looking at how much profits are made on the share. When I see I made zero profit. Whatever price I purchased the share last year, now also the price of the share is same only. Did I make any profit? No profit. But does it mean it's no longer my asset? It is still my asset. Samaya. In fact, you know what could happen? The asset value can also depreciate. Assets may not give you returns also. Forget about giving returns. Asset value may depreciate. I purchased a car 4 to 5 years back. Now if I try to sell the car in the market, right, I'll get only half of its initial value. You purchase a mobile phone, no? The day you just open the box, unbox the mobile phone, its value has already fallen by 20%. Understand that. You try selling it in the market, no one will believe you. Did you understand? So asset may not give you returns. Asset value may depreciate. Does not matter. What is the most important thing that you should see when you are looking at whether it is an asset or not? Whether you own it or not. Everyone is clear with this? What is an liability? Liability is something that one owes. When I say something when one owes means it does not belong to you. It does not belong to you. You may have taken it from someone and you are required to give it back. That is what is your liability. Samaya? Like let's say I forgot to bring my mobile phone. I, for example, take Hemant's phone saying that I need to make an urgent call. His phone is with me. Doesn't mean it's my asset, na? What it is for me. It is my liability because I have to give it back to him. सबको समझ में आया? Everyone? Can you give me examples of other liabilities? Huh? If you take a loan, you are required to pay it back. Unless obviously someone like Vijay Mallya. Credit card is a liability. Anything else? Anything else that you think is a liability? Socho. Let's say you have promised your younger sibling that you will help him or her to complete their homework. ये आपके liability हो गया ना आपके लिए. This is your liability because you owe them something, that you'll help them complete their homework. It's a promise which you have given them. So understand that liability is not always something which is tangible. It can be something which is intangible, something which you cannot touch and feel. Like you have promised your parents कि IAS बनूंगा या बनूंगी. So what it is for you? It is a liability. It's a liability that you have created towards your parents. Did you all get the point? So liability is always something that one owes. So keeping this in logic, let's see here. This is a bank. In this bank, let's say I go and deposit money. ठीक है? I go and deposit money. Varun, for me, the deposit, what it is? For me, the deposit which I keep will be an asset. But the same deposit for the bank, what will it be? Because the bank is liable to give me back my money, na? Same logic. If this bank gives loan, for example, to Malya, in that case, for the bank, what will it be? What if Malya does not repay the loan in that case? Soumya, what did you say? If Malya does not repay the loan, it becomes a liability. Why? Go on. Why? Swarnim, you also said liability, no? Why do you think it will become a liability? So if Malya, so what if Malya does not repay the loan? My question is, why does it become a liability for the bank? So for that, I have already accounted the deposit, na? The 100 rupees deposit, for example, which I have kept. Okay. So the 100 rupees deposit, which I have kept, right? That 100 rupees deposit is already a liability for the bank. Clear? So the bank, when it gives loan, for the bank, it is always an asset. Understand that. And if someone is not repaying the loans, then that asset becomes a lost asset. You understand? What is lost asset? Lost asset means they're not being able to recover it. So the loan for the bank is always an asset. For the borrower, it always becomes a kind of liability. समझ में आया सबको? Everyone? No confusion on asset and liability? Can? Yes, asset can also be intangible. Like something like patents. Patent is always intangible, na? Goodwill. यहाँ तक clear है? So please write. Asset is something that one owns. Asset is something that one owns, while liability is something asset is something that one owns, while liability is something that one owes. Full stop. The value of the asset, the value of the asset may, the value of the asset may, please underline the word may, depreciate over a period of time, or may not provide or may not provide sufficient returns, or may not provide returns, or may not provide returns. For example, for example, the car owned by a person, the value of the car, sorry. For example, the value of the car owned by the person, for example, the value of the car owned by the person may depreciate, may depreciate, or the value of the gold, or the value of the gold owned by the person, or the value of the gold owned by the person may remain same. Is the gold giving you returns? No returns, no. But still the gold will be considered as an asset. Next para. On the other hand, liability, on the other hand, liability is something that a person owes. Liability is something that a person owes. OWES. Can you take this diagram of deposit and loan, which basically highlights that deposit, looking at from the perspective of bank or the depositor, could be asset or liability. Same can be said about the loan also. Yes, students are running online. Any doubts? Okay. Sure. The repairing. Repairing cost will be a liability. Why will it become a liability? It doesn't become anything. It's just an expenditure. It's not an asset or liability. It's just an expenditure that you incur. But I would not call it as liability because I don't owe anything to anyone. Na? I don't call it as liability. I would say rather that as an expenditure to maintain my asset. Clear with this? Okay. This is the about asset and liability. Just take your time. I'm giving you 1 minute very carefully. Tell me the bank notes which is printed by RBI. Tell me this is an asset or a liability for the RBI. You have 1 minute. Take your time. Yes, Harshik, you can say that. The value of liability may remain constant, it may increase, and in fact, it may reduce also. Hmm. You think it's a liability? Huh? Bharat? Soumya? It's a liability of RBI? Vaishali? Hemant? What does it mean? Liability or asset? Yes, Aditya? Anyone who thinks it is an asset in the class? Varun? It's an asset? Shiva? It's an asset. You have a note in your pocket now? Sure? Or you have gone cashless like me? Varun, you have a note? Okay, good. You can't change. Yes. Okay. Varun, just pass on that note to me. Okay. So, all of you, just see. Forget that I have taken this note from Varun. Obviously, I'll pay him back. Don't worry about it. But just forget that I have taken this note from Varun and just imagine that I have taken out this note from my pocket. This note, I have taken it from my pocket. If I have taken out this note from my pocket, who owns this note? Who has owned this note? I own this note. Who has earned this money? I have earned this money. If I have earned this money, for me, what it is? Asset. I told you, no, what is an asset? Something that you own. So, Varun, you owned this note. Because you owned this note for you is an asset. Clear with that? Everyone? Okay, let's see what it is for RBI. For RBI, what it is. Let's assume I'm a alien who has come to planet Earth for the first time. And I come to planet Earth for the first time. I find this lying on the road. Being an alien, for me, this is nothing but a piece of paper. Understand that. So I picked up this paper. I read on this paper. It is mentioned, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 500 rupees. I repeat, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 500 rupees with the signature of RBI Governor Mr. Sanjay Malhotra. Swarnim is standing next to me. I go to Swarnim and says, Ye kaun hai? Ye kaun hai as in like, who is this Sanjay Malhotra? So Swarnim, because he has studied RBI, he knows that Sanjay Malhotra sits in Mumbai office. So he says, you can meet him in Mumbai. Hypothetically speaking, let's say I travel all the way to Mumbai and I walk into Sanjay Malhotra's office. I'll show him this and tell him, आपने प्रॉमिस किया था मुझे, यू प्रॉमिस मी टू पे 500 रुपीज. Bank note for the RBI, what it is now? Yes, it is a liability. Why it is a liability? Because when RBI print this note and give it to us, RBI has promised us that it will pay a value equal to the denomination of this particular note. So because RBI has promised something, for RBI it is a liability. Do not have this logic, flawed logic, that this note is printed by RBI, so it is RBI's asset. It is wrong to think of it. It's like saying you promise your younger sibling that you'll help them complete their homework. If you make a promise, that promise for you, what it is? It is a liability. Did you get the point, Varun? Shiva? Understood? So always understand, any note that you come across in India, any note, with whoever that note is, for that particular person, the note is asset, but it is always a liability for RBI. Now, because I have taken this note from Varun, this is my liability towards whom? Towards Varun. But for Varun, who has to pay him 500 rupees? RBI. Clear with this logic? So please write down note. हाँ Bharat. हाँ. हाँ, it is asset for the RBI. RBI giving loans to SBI is always an asset. But did I say asset or did I say note? हाँ, तो वो 500 का, हाँ, तो जो लोन है वो एसेट होगा, नोट लायबिलिटी होगा. ठीक है, क्लियर विद दैट? So please write note after this, note after this, note, NOTE, note. All the bank notes, all the bank notes are, all the bank notes are the liabilities of RBI. All the bank notes are the liabilities of RBI since RBI promises to pay the bearer, since the RBI promises to pay the bearer the value equivalent to the denomination of the bank note. A value equal to the denomination of the bank note. ठीक है? Okay, so this is about the asset and liability. Now coming to the second concept, concept of bond. Write down concept of bond. Okay, so please mark that as important, concept of bond. Okay, let's say there is a particular company. This company, for example, wants to borrow money. To borrow money, company has two options. One is it can borrow loans from the bank. For example, okay. For example, let's say it decides to borrow rupees 100 for, let's say, 5 years, for which the company will pay a interest of 5% every year. This is how generally, you or companies will borrow loans from the banks. But for companies, there is another method, another tool by which they can borrow the money also. That is by issuing what is called as, yes, what is it? Bond. Consider, give me pen, Asha. Just give me a pen. Huh. Let's say this is this paper. Okay? This is a paper. So I'm keep this 500. Let's do a small exercise so that you are able to understand this concept of bond. This is a paper. Let's say I own a company. On this paper, I will write that my company is borrowing certain amount of money. Yahan pe when I borrow loans from bank, what is that amount? Amount is 100. But in a bond, we don't say the word amount. Instead of saying the word amount, we use another technical term. And that technical term is what? Yes, face value. Face value in this case is rupees 100. If you're getting confused, no, face value is nothing but, look at this, amount of borrowings. How much money the company is borrowing. Second, the company will also borrow money for certain duration. But in case of bond, we don't call it as duration. In case of bond, we call this as, look at this, क्या बोलते हैं इसे? Maturity. Let's say maturity here is 5 years. So what is maturity in simple words? Duration of borrowings. यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं हम? Interest. If I am borrowing money, I will have to pay some interest also, na? In case of bond, we don't generally call this as interest. We generally call this as another technical term. Look at this, what it is? Coupon rate. Coupon rate is, let's say, 5%. Company is issuing bond. Let's say my company is issuing this bond. Let's say this bond is bought by investor X. There's some investor called as X. So think this is this paper. On that paper, I'm writing face value. I'm writing maturity. And I am writing coupon rate. So I am promising. It's just like how RBI promises, na? Ki I promise to pay the bearer. Here, I as a company am promising that I am borrowing 100 rupees from you guys, for which I'll pay you how much interest? 5% interest. And I will repay back your money after how many years? 5 years. So let's say I sell it to Swarnim, for example. Okay? So what did Swarnim give me? No, understand this is 500. Because what's the value of this bond? 100. So let's say he has given me 100 rupees. I have borrowed money, na? So he becomes investor X. So now what I will do here is company will pay interest of, what is the coupon rate? 5%. 5% of what is the face value? 100. How much is the interest? 5 rupees. When will it pay? Every year. So when I say the coupon rate is 5%, na, this is the interest which the investor will get not at the end of 5 years. This is the interest which they get on a yearly basis. So I will pay him rupees 5 every year. Getting this? Okay. So at the end of 5th year, 5 साल के बाद company will pay back entire amount that it has borrowed. How much amount it borrowed? 100. So company will pay back entire amount, that is 100. Vaishali, तो स्वर्णिम का प्रॉफिट क्या हुआ यहाँ पे? How much money did he earn actually? He earned 25 rupees. 5 rupees is the interest that he earned for every year. So how many years he earned the interest of 5 years? 5 years. So 5 into 5, how much is the profit that he earns? 25 rupees. He gave me 100. In return, he got 125 totally. समझ में आया सबको? What is the meaning of bond? ठीक है? Now, it might so happen, I'll add a little complication. It might so happen that Swarnim here may be in need of money after 1 year only. Like first year, I paid him rupees 5. I already paid him 5 rupees. But he gave me 100 rupees. Na? He is in need of that money. Can he come and ask the money back immediately after the first year? Never. Because I had told him, promise that I'll give him money after how many years? 5 years. So what will happen if he needs money? He can sell the bond to someone else. Like Swarnim can sell the bond to Vaishali. So who will pay that 100 rupees to Swarnim in this case? Vaishali will pay that particular money. Second year, who will get the interest then? Not Swarnim. Second year, who will get the interest? Vaishali. Who has the bond at that particular point of time? Let's say second year I paid her the interest. But let's say she is in urgent need of money. She cannot come and ask me money because I said I will repay my money only after how many years? 5 years. So she can sell that bond to Soumya. Third year, who will get the interest? Soumya will get the interest. Soumya, sabko? This is what is bond. Bond is basically, I told you, ज़्यादा complicated नहीं करना है. It's just a paper. It's just a paper, and it's a paper through which company is borrowing money. That's it. समझ में आया सबको? How is bond different from share? Share. You must have heard of share, na? Like you purchase SBI shares, Reliance share. What's the difference? Okay, it's too early for me to get into shares. Don't worry. We'll discuss in a separate topic. Okay? But did you all get the point? Huh. All are digital only these days. Okay, we'll come to that. That's a very big difference. When you buy share, na, you become the owner of the company. When you purchase a bond, you don't become owner. You become the lender to the company. You bought the bond of my company, right? Like Swarnim bought the bond. He is not becoming owner. He is only lending his money. But if you purchase a share, you become the owner of the company. But it's a separate story. We'll discuss shares in much greater detail in some other class in capital market. ठीक है? Is everyone clear? Understood bond? Okay. Now take your time and tell me. I would want everyone to tell me bond, what it is for investor and what it is for the issuer. I hope you understood what is issuer. Issuer means who is issuing it. Investor means who is purchasing. So you have to tell me what it is for the issuer and what it is for the investor, whether it is an asset or liability. 30 seconds. Take your time. Naman, don't worry, we'll discuss that. What will RBI give? Yes, online students. Is there any doubt that you have with respect to bond? Hemant. For the investor, what is a bond? Asset or liability? For the issuer? Why it is liability for the issuer? I have issued the bond. I am the issuer. I have borrowed money. Because I have borrowed money, I am liable to give it back. So for the issuer, it is always a liability. If you purchase a bond, it is always an asset because you own the bond. Secondly, on that bond, you also earn interest. Na? It's an asset on which you actually earn profit. So for the investor, the bond is always an asset. For the issuer, the bond is always a liability. Because when the company issues bond, what is company doing? Company is actually borrowing money. So right, bond is a financial instrument. Bond is a financial instrument Yeah, good, Ashik. Yeah. Bond is a financial instrument through which companies borrow money. Bond is a financial instrument through which companies borrow money. Full stop. Bonds have three characteristics. Bonds have three characteristics. Number one, face value. Face value. In the bracket, right, amount of borrowings. Second, maturity. Maturity. In the bracket, right, duration of borrowings. Third, coupon rate. In the bracket, right, interest to be paid by the company. Interest to be paid by the company. Interest to be paid by the company. Okay. Next para I can write. The bond is an asset. The bond is an asset for the investor, and liability for the issuer. and liability for the issuer. Can you take this down? Company borrows money. Okay, this part and that part, so that you are able to relate that borrowing loans from bank is same as issuing a bond. Everyone is done? Ashu done? Okay, so we have done the basics, right? So we understood what is an asset, what is a liability, and based upon that, we also discussed the concept of a bond. Now we'll discuss on what basis does the RBI print the notes. हाँ Soumya? Or no, obviously individuals cannot issue bond. Only the companies registered under the Companies Act. At the same time, let me tell you, we're not done with the topic of bond. It's just a start, because we have a separate chapter of capital market. In that chapter of capital market, we'll go into depth of bonds, like what can be the minimum face value of the bond, who can issue the bonds. All those things we'll be covering later. This is just a start. Okay. Now let's understand the mechanism of printing the notes. Next para, right? The issue department of the RBI, the issue department of the RBI follows the minimum reserve system. The issue department of the RBI follows the minimum reserve system for printing of bank notes in India. Please underline that word, minimum reserve system. Okay. Full stop. Under the minimum reserve system, comma, the issue department should fulfill two conditions. The issue department should fulfill two conditions. For printing notes. first condition, right? First condition, the issue department should maintain minimum reserves of rupees 200 crores. The issue department should maintain minimum reserves of rupees 200 crores in the bracket, right? 115 crores gold, 115 crores gold, and 85 crores foreign currency assets. Okay, just pay attention. Issue department, if it has to print notes, start to print notes, compulsorily issue department should have certain minimum amount of money. How much should be that minimum amount? 200 crores. Out of that 200 crores, 115 crores should be in form of gold. Remaining 85 crores should be in the form of foreign currency assets. When I say foreign currency assets, it could be in the form of foreign currencies. Can you tell me some of the foreign currencies? डॉलर हो सकता है, डॉलर, पॉन्ड, येन, yuan, and so on. So it will keep some of the international currencies which are internationally acceptable, well known, like dollar, pound, yen, right? All of this. Not just that, this foreign currency assets can also be in the form of bonds issued by the foreign governments. So all the governments issue bonds, like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all the governments issue bonds. But do you think we'll purchase the bonds of Sri Lanka or Bangladesh? No, right? We'll obviously purchase the bonds issued by developed economies like US. So bonds issued by foreign governments such as, look at this, if bond is issued by US government, what do we call this as? US Treasury bonds. The word is Treasury. Getting that point? So minimum 115 crores gold, second 85 crores foreign currency asset, which can be in either foreign currency or the bonds issued by foreign government. Yeah, that clear? Okay. Second. Okay, please continue that. I think what did I dictate that? 115 crores in the form of foreign currency assets. Full stop. The foreign currency assets can be in the form of foreign currencies and bonds issued by foreign governments. ठीक है? Example, you can write US Treasury bond. US Treasury bond. Okay, that is the first criteria. Second criteria, total liabilities of the issue department. Total liabilities of the issue, write down. Total liabilities of the issue department should always be equal to total liabilities of issue department should always be equal to the total assets of the issue department. Okay. Shiva, what is the liability of issue department? Like I walk into Shakti Kandada's office, sorry, Sanjay Malhotra's office, and I say him, I want my money back. Sanjay Malhotra will direct me to some department. Which department? Issue department. This note is a liability of RBI, but within RBI, whose liability it is? Issue department. So total liabilities of issue department. So what is the liability of issue department? Bank notes. So total liabilities of the issue department, which is nothing but the total value of bank notes, should be same as what? Total assets. And please write the total assets, the assets of the issue department, the assets of the issue department can be in the form of gold, foreign currency assets, government securities, government securities, ₹1 coins or notes. ₹1 coins or notes. Okay. So please have a look at the board. If RBI's issue department has to print notes, minimum how much money it should have? 200 crores. Second, whatever is its liability, it should have same amount of what? Assets. Liabilities and assets both should be always same. Always same. What is the meaning of it? Let's understand this. Okay. Okay, let's assume that throughout India, no one has any bank note at all. No one has any bank note, and we are starting on a clean slate. When I say we are starting on a clean slate, means first time we are printing notes. And assume that I am the issue department. I am printing notes. Say I want to print this ₹500 note. What is the first criteria? How much money should I have minimum? I will keep 200 crores. Minimum, I'll keep 200 crores with me. Second, criteria says my liability should be same as what? My asset. So, please tell me, in this case, let's say I decide to print ₹500. I have printed this ₹500. And I'm going to issue this ₹500 into the market. So what will this 500 rupee become for me? Liability. But my liability is 500. What should be my asset? My asset should also be 500. What can be that asset with me? It can be gold, bond issued by foreign government, bond issued by Indian government, or a 1 rupee note or coin. Let's say I decide to keep a gold worth 500 rupees with me. What is my liability? 500. What is my asset? 500. So let's say I issue this note. Give it back to Varun. Now Varun reads that. पढ़ो वरुण, उसमें क्या लिखा है? I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 500 rupees. Varun will never come to me to ask me for 500. ठीक है? But hypothetically, if he comes to me and says, मुझे अपना 500 रुपए चाहिए, what will I give him in return? Yes? What will I give him in return? I will give him gold worth 500. समझ आया? All of you take out your notes if you have in your wallet. You have, except Varun, anyone has any notes in your wallet? Soumya has. Vaishali, you also have? Huh? Swarnim? Yes. And let's do a small exercise. Huh? Vaishali, how much you have? So, I have issued a 100 rupee note to Vaishali. On that, it is written, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 100 rupees. If Vaishali comes to me and asks for 100 rupees, what can I do is, I can give her a bond issued by US government worth 100 rupees. Or I can give her a dollar worth 100 rupees. Bharat has 500 rupees. He comes to me, मुझे अपना 500 रुपए चाहिए. Let's say I have 500 rupees worth government security. It's a bond issued by Indian government. So I'll give him that 500. Do you understand? So you tell me, if everyone in India comes together, and dump their bank notes at one particular place, what will be that value? I don't want that answer. Don't tell me it will be equal to that assets. I'm asking for the objective data, fact. How much do you think that will be? Like in class, I think if you look at the money, I think it should be somewhere around 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It should be somewhere around 5,000. Same way, if everyone in India comes together at one particular place, how much that would be, approximately? No, it will not be. It will be much less. How much would that be? Approximately, take a guess. Few lakh crores? कितना हो सकता है? नहीं, वो बहुत ज्यादा पैसा हो गया. Anil? 700 crore, don't you think it is too less? आजकल लोग अपने घर पे रखते हैं 700 करोड़ छुपा के रखते हैं, right? Okay, if you see, if I add up all the value of bank notes in India last year, I'm not saying this year, last year, its value was around 33 lakh crores. So this is the total liabilities of issue department. So how much will be the assets of issue department? Assets will also be equal to 33 lakh crores. Must be. Okay. Yeah, ठीक है. Your guess is right. Don't worry. I was wrong. चलो, ठीक है. So, coming to this, okay, I'm going to make a statement. all the bank notes are backed by equivalent value of assets. I hope you agree with me on my statement. All the bank notes are backed by equivalent value of assets. And who has those assets? The issue department. And don't ask me where is that asset. RBI will not divulge that. Okay, so RBI has 33 lakh crore with itself, but where it is, only RBI's know that. Okay, clear with that? Okay. So, is there any limit on printing of notes in India? What is that limit? Is there any quantitative limit on printing of notes? Ki RBI can print only this much amount of notes. Is there any limit? Can RBI print unlimited notes? My question is, can it do it? Yes, it can very well do it. The only thing what RBI needs is how much ever notes it wants to print, against that it has to have equivalent value of asset. So can RBI print unlimited notes? Yes. RBI can obviously print unlimited notes. But why it does not print then? What is government security? Government security is a paper, na? Government can easily give a paper to RBI and say, chap do. So why will RBI not print that? Obviously, I can understand asset is a problem, which can be with respect to gold. Government security is a paper only. So why is RBI not printing unlimited notes? Suddenly, let's say you have everyone, now you have 500 rupees. Suddenly, everyone, let's say, has 5 lakh rupees in a pocket now. Everyone has 5 lakh rupees in a pocket. You will go out. You will not probably go out and eat in a normal hotel. You'll probably go out and eat in 5-star hotel. You'll probably want to purchase a car. What will happen to demand in the economy? Suddenly the demand in the economy will increase, which might lead to inflation. So RBI will print only that much amount of notes which RBI thinks will not lead to inflation. Did you get the point? So that is something which RBI will take a call on that. Every year RBI will decide how much notes it has to print. But can it print unlimited notes? Yes, it can do so. Is everyone clear with this concept of printing notes? Any doubts? Just take 30 seconds, 1 minute. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Socho. Take your time. RBI will purchase. We'll come to that. I think Soumya has a very good question. Her question is, if RBI is purchasing these assets, from where is RBI getting that money? You know, the beauty of economy is you learn one concept, you'll get a doubt. That doubt will get cleared in the next concept. But when you learn that new concept, naya doubt clears. So like one thing leads to another. So don't worry. Until now, you did not had an idea ki how is note printed. Now you understood how is note printed. Now you are getting doubt कि ये पैसा कहाँ से आएगा. जब आपको पता चलेगा कि पैसा यहाँ से आ रहा है, then आपको और एक doubt आएगा. One by one, we'll be covering this. Don't worry. But keep this alive. This curiosity in your mind, na? Just keep it alive. Is everyone clear? Please write. Next para. This means that This means that all the bank notes are backed by equivalent value of assets. Okay, someone is asking from the online batch. Let me see how many will be able to answer this question. His question is, why is RBI creating a liability for itself? I hope you're getting his question. He is saying RBI is printing note. By printing note, why is RBI creating liability for itself? Batao. Why is RBI creating a liability for itself by printing notes? I think that's the role of the RBI, ना? RBI का main role ही क्या है? RBI's main function is to print notes. RBI's main function is to print notes. And imagine if RBI is printing note without any promise. Do you think people will readily accept it? People will not accept it. People are accepting that note because on that RBI said, I promise to pay the bearer. Because we know that if you want that value of 500 rupees, we can go to RBI because we have the trust. That is why we are using that 500 rupees. So why is RBI creating liability? Number one, I think it's RBI's role. RBI का role ही है ना to print notes. Clear? Okay. Yes, Naman, I hope it's clear now. Next, what is the line which I said? All the bank notes are backed. This means that all the bank notes are backed by equivalent value of assets. Okay. Please see this. This is from RBI's annual report of last year. This side, it shows the liabilities of the issue department. Liabilities of the issue department. Total value of notes, if you see, this is somewhere around 33 lakh crores. Against that, it has assets of the issue department. When I say ID means issue department. Gold with the issue department. Investment foreign ID, foreign currency asset. Investment domestic ID, government securities. This too you ignore, not really important. So can you see, this is the asset, this is the liability. क्या रहा दोनों का? Can you see the values are almost same? In fact, they are matching until 2 decimal points. And among the assets, which assets account for the highest share? Foreign currency assets. And can you see against domestic ID कितना है value? ये भी आपको doubt आएगा कि why it is 0. We'll understand that later in the role of RBI as a debt manager. I'll show you this particular chart once again. As of now, just understand the total assets and liabilities of the RBI are same, issue department are same, and it is somewhere around 33 lakh crores. So, right, next point. Ashima, like I said, from where will RBI get the money from? You'll get to know in the next part, don't worry. Right. Last year, the total value of bank notes, was around 33 lakh crores. Last year, the total value of bank notes was around 33 lakh crores, full stop. Against this liability, against this, comma, issue department had equivalent value of assets. Against this, issue department had equivalent value of assets. Full stop. Most of the assets of the issue department are in the form of foreign currency assets. Foreign currency assets. Naman, you'll understand later that Forex and this both are same. Forex reserves with the RBI and this both are same. But it is too early for me to get into that. You'll get to know that part later. Yeah, that clear? Okay. Fine. The next part. Why does government, next right question. Why does government print 1 rupee note? Why does government print 1 rupee note? It's continuation of that only, printing of notes mechanism. Yes. Why does government print 1 rupee note? Okay. All of you see here. Everyone, when you see a bank note, mostly everyone focuses on this line, that I promise to pay the bearer. But what is also equally interesting is, can you see यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Guaranteed by the central government. Varun, what do you think this guarantee by central government means? Vaishali, what do you think? On that note, government is saying, I guarantee this. What is the meaning of that guarantee? Mediator? No. Hemant? So here the government is saying, if RBI is promised you something, RBI for sure will fulfill that particular promise. But if RBI fails to fulfill the promise, I will fulfill the promise on behalf of the RBI. So it's like I am the government and you are the people. I am saying to all of you, you go to RBI. RBI will fulfill your promise. If RBI is not fulfilling the promise, come to me, I will fulfill the promise. Is that clear? So let's say Bharat goes to Sanjay Malhotra and he says, I want a sum of 500 rupees. Ideally, RBI's issue department should give him gold or foreign currency assets or what? Government securities. But hypothetically, it is not going to happen. Hypothetically, let's say RBI does not has any of this. Will RBI be able to fulfill its promise? Obviously not. So he'll come to me, na? And he'll say, मुझे अपना 500 रुपए चाहिए. So what will I give him? I have to give him something. What will I give him then? I will give him 1 rupee note. Now you understood why does the government has the right to print 1 rupee note? Because the government has said, if RBI does not fulfill the promise, I will fulfill the promise. And how will government fulfill the promise? By printing 1 rupee note. So what happens is, instead of government keeping that 1 rupee note with itself, government may ask RBI to keep 1 rupee note with itself. In case if RBI के पास gold, foreign currency, government security नहीं है, then what will RBI give to the people then? RBI can give to people 1 rupee note. That is why 1 rupee note also becomes what? An asset for the issue department. समझ में आया? Is everyone clear with this? So let's say Bharat becomes very happy. Like he had a single 500 rupee note. Against that single 500 rupee note, he got this big bundle of 500 1 rupee note. He is super excited. He goes home. He opens the note. This minute. I think I must have showed you 1 rupee note in last class. Okay. So he goes home. He opens that 1 rupee note. Can you see what's the difference between 1 rupee note and normal bank note? I think you got the joke. Yes, Soumya, what is the difference? There's no promise there. Like he's happy that he has got a bundle of 500 1 rupee note. He goes home. He opens the note. वहां पे कुछ लिखा ही नहीं है. I promise to pay the bearer. Which means when RBI is printing this note, RBI has equivalent value of assets. But when the government is printing 1 rupee note, is there any equivalent value of asset? Nothing. It is like government going to a printing press, उसके ऊपर 1 rupee note छापना है. Did you understand this point? और कुछ नहीं है. Because it can print unlimited 1 rupee note, but the government is not required to keep any kind of asset with itself. But why people will still accept 1 rupee note? Because of the trust. Because of the trust and obviously because of its universal acceptance. Clear, everyone? Chalo, ठीक है. Please write down. Write down. Why does the government print 1 rupee note? No, all the coins are also minted by the government. All the coins are also minted by the government, and government is not required to keep any asset against that coin. But coins are still better because coins do have some value, intrinsic value. But problem is with 1 rupee note, it's nothing but a paper actually, और कुछ नहीं है उसका. Okay, right. All the bank notes are guaranteed by the central government. All the bank notes are guaranteed by the central government. This means that, full stop, this means that if the RBI is unable to fulfill its promise, this means that if RBI is unable to fulfill its promise, the government would fulfill the promise on behalf of the RBI. The government would fulfill the promise on behalf of the RBI. Full stop. Next para. Hence, comma, the government has a right to print 1 rupee notes. Hence, the government has the right to print 1 rupee notes to fulfill this promise. Hence, the government has the right to print 1 rupee notes to fulfill this promise. Okay, look at this question, everyone. Okay, it's 7:05. We'll take a break of 5 minutes. Once we come back, we'll start with the questions. Okay, let's have a look at this practice question. Anil, will start with you. The RBI can print notes of denomination ranging from 1 to, it is wrong. It can print notes from 2 to 10,000. Okay. First one, it's right. Third, yeah. So only 2. Okay. Aditya? Huh? Check is not a legal tender? You can reject. What about coins? Somewhere you're saying something. Huh? Vishali? Okay. In India, understand that there are just 4 things which are considered to be legal tender. Only 4 things. One is obviously bank notes. Second is 1 rupee notes. Third is coins. Fourth one, no. Have you heard of something called as central bank digital currency? Okay, anyways, we'll cover about central bank digital currency. You know, like just like the way RBI is printing a 10 rupee note, 20 rupee note, 50 rupee note, 100 rupee note, which is tangible, which you can touch and feel. Similar to that, RBI is issuing a digital currency that is called as central bank digital currency, about which we'll be covering. So in India, there are 4 things which are considered to be legal tender: banknotes, coins, 1 rupee note, and central bank digital currency. Anything except this is not a legal tender. CBDC ka? You're saying CBDC ka? Okay. Here, because RBI says it's a legal tender, except that it has been declared under the legal tender under the RBI Act 1934. So if someone does not has a mobile phone, we cannot say that it is not a legal tender. It is still a legal tender only. It is a legal tender. Okay. So please write. After that, what is the last line that you wrote? 1 rupee note. After that, write a small note. Coffee बोल देना उनको नीचे. Next, you can write in India, note in that in India, only the following are considered as legal tender. Only the following are considered as legal tender. Only the following are considered as legal tender. Number 1, banknotes. Second, 1 rupee notes. Third, coins. Fourth, central bank digital currency. Central bank digital currency. In the bracket, write to be discussed later. नहीं तो इसके ऊपर आप सोचेंगे ये कौन सा नया टॉपिक है जो सर ने नहीं पढ़ा है. So right, to be discussed later. Central bank digital currency. Okay. So if you see how many are considered as legal tender in India, so only bank notes as well as coins. Yes. Next, Varun. How many among the following can be kept as assets with the issue department for printing of notes? Gold, foreign currency assets, as well as government securities. All the 3. Shiva? The issue department must maintain minimum reserves of rupees 200 crores at all the times for printing of notes. there is quantitative restriction on printing of notes in India. Quantitative wise, is there any restriction? No restriction. The only thing is that assets and liabilities both should match. But that is not a quantitative restriction. Understand that. Okay. So the right answer in this case is 1 only. Okay. Next. Bharat. Huh. RBI has been established as a statutory body based upon the recommendations of Hilton and Committee. क्यों? आरबीआई कब एस्टेब्लिश हुआ था? बट ये पूरा लाइन पढ़ो, व्हाट इज इट सेइंग? रिकमेंडेशंस कब दिया था पूछ रहे हैं या आरबीआई कब एस्टेब्लिश हुआ था पूछ रहा है? आरबीआई कब एस्टेब्लिश हुआ, तो आंसर राइट है या नहीं? ट्रू, गुड. सौम्या, इट इज ट्रू. वैशाली, has any RBI government reappointed? Shaktikanta Das. Swarnim? It is required to meet at least 6 times in a year. Ashu? Under the minimum reserve system, issue department should always maintain minimum reserves of rupees 200 crores. True. Hemant? They're backed by equivalent value of assets. Anil? Deposits of the banks are considered as assets of the banks or liabilities? They are liabilities. Good. Aditya? Loans given by the banks are considered as liabilities of the borrowers. Loans given by the banks for the borrower, they are always liabilities. Good. यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Everyone is clear? चलो, good. Next, right? Sinorich. Okay. I'm going to write it, don't worry. Write this. Sinorich. SEIGNIORAGE. Ashima, the government does not need to maintain any assets for printing 1 rupee notes or for minting coins. Okay? No. Why? Why the dot? Scam? तो आप बिल्कुल नहीं प्रिंट कर सकते हो. You can't print 1 rupee note. Only government can print 1 rupee note. आप खुद का कुछ प्रिंटिंग प्रेस का सोच रहे थे क्या? Okay. Let's understand what is this seigniorage. Okay. So please write the definition of seigniorage. It refers to the net profits. It refers to the net profits. Underline the word net profits. It refers to the net profits earned by the issue department. It refers to the net profits earned by the issue department on printing of bank notes. On printing of bank notes. It is calculated as profits earned on printing notes. Profits earned on printing notes minus cost of printing notes. Profits earned on printing notes minus cost of printing notes. That is what we call it as seigniorage. Okay. So obviously, you know about cost of printing note. Can you tell me what is the cost involved in printing notes? क्या cost include होता है? One is obviously that you have to purchase a paper, you have to purchase ink. That is the bare minimum thing. But if you just take out your note, na, एक बार note निकालो. If you take out a note, can you see on the note there are a number of security features incorporated, basically to make it difficult for people to print their own notes, counterfeit notes. Can you see the security feature? Like if you keep the note against the light, just try to keep that note against the light. Can you see within that? Can you see the security feature? Everyone, can you see that? It is there, right? So incorporation of security feature is also very costly. Understand that. I hope it is a genuine note. Genuine note है ना वो? हाँ, गांधी जी नहीं है उसमें. Okay. Okay. So basically there are a number of security features incorporated, and that is considered to be quite costly. So we have to acquire paper, we have to print we need to acquire ink, incorporation of security features. That is understandable. But this about how is issue department earning profit on printing notes, this is something which is very difficult to understand. So hum will be getting into this part. So please write, how does issue department Harshik, there is no maximum limit on the reserves to be maintained with the issue department. Okay. How does the issue department earn profit on printing notes? How does the issue department earn profit on printing notes? Okay. Let's understand this thing. It's a little complicated to understand, so completely pay attention. I'll dictate what all things that I'm going to cover here. Let's say the year is 2021 and I am the issue department of the RBI, and I have to print notes. And for printing notes, remember I told you the criteria is liability should be same as the total asset. So in the year 2021, let's say I have printed 3,000 rupee notes and circulated among all of you guys. You have 3,000 rupee note, which for me is my liability towards you. Against that 3,000 rupee, I have kept some asset. Let's say I have kept 1 gram gold worth rupees 3,000. Asset and liability both are same. Let's say next year 2022, assuming that I'm not printing more notes, assuming no additional printing of notes. So what will be my liability in 2022? Same na, 3,000 rupees. I have already printed 3,000 rupees and given to you. So my liability is still rupees 3,000. will the value of gold remain same? The value of gold could increase or decrease. But let's be optimistic, where we are assuming that the value of gold has increased. So let's say now 1 gram gold value is equal to rupees 6,000. Are my assets and liabilities same? They are different. Swarnim, what is the option for me? क्या option है मुझे? What should I do? Swarnim has a very good point. He says मेरे पास दो option है. Option 1, he says that because the value of asset has increased to rupees 6,000, he says, why don't you print additional rupees 3,000? That is option 1. Or option 2, Swarnim, sell 0.5 gram gold worth rupees 3,000. Half gram gold, if I sell it, I'll get rupees 3,000. I will be left with how much amount of gold? 0.5 gram gold, which is worth rupees 3,000. Option number 1, because my asset value has increased, I can print more notes. Or if my asset value has increased, I will sell off my asset and make profit. Both the two things are possible. On what basis does RBI decides to print notes? It should always ensure that printing of excess notes should not lead to what? Inflation. So if you go by option 1, where RBI is printing additional notes, what will happen to circulation of money in the economy? Increase. And if the money circulation increases, it might lead to what? Inflation. So always understand that RBI, this is very important, RBI will first choose how much notes has to be printed, and based upon that, ki how much notes has to be printed, second, RBI maintains equivalent value of assets. Always. So between liability and asset, what will RBI first decide? Liability. It will first decide liability. Based upon that, it will decide how much asset it should have. Not the other way around. Just because its value of asset has increased or decreased, it will change its liability. Never. So priority of the RBI is 1. How much is its liability to decide? Based upon that, it will decide on its asset. So option 1 is not right. What it will do? It will sell 0.5 gram gold worth rupees 3,000. It will be left with 0.5 gram gold worth rupees 3,000. Are assets and liability matching? Right. समझ में आया? When it sells gold, how much profit it is making? 3,000. What do you think it will do with the profit? Entire profit? Yes. What will it do with the profit? Entire profit will it transfer to the government. What happens here is, in option 2, whatever profits it earns, some amount of its profit, RBI will keep it with itself in its piggy bank. As a school going kid, if your parents used to give pocket money, most of the pocket money used to spend. When you want to save pocket money, what you used to do? You used to have your own piggy bank into which you used to put your money. You wanted to store that money. Same way, RBI will put some amount of money into its piggy bank, which RBI calls it. We'll discuss that later. We will call this as what? Buffer. What's the meaning of buffer? Buffer is something that you are saving it for a rainy day. You are saving that money to be used in future during certain emergency situations. Remaining money, RBI will transfer to the government as what? As a dividend. समझ में आया? Everyone is clear with this? Okay. Now we have seen a very optimistic view of this. Let's take a pessimistic view also. Say next year, in 2023, let's say liability is still same, 3,000 only. We are not printing any notes. It is still 3,000. If the value of gold can increase, value of gold can also decrease. So I am left with 0.5 gram gold. I told you, I'm left with 0.5 gram gold whose value is equal to rupees 3,000. Let's say the 0.5 gram gold value is 1,500. What is my liability? 3,000. What is my asset? 1,500. Two options. Because my asset value has reduced, I can take out the notes. But does that what RBI does? Never. RBI पहले क्या decide करता है? Liability. Based upon liability, what will decide? Asset. Never the other way around. So, because the value of assets has got reduced, it should buy additional gold. कहाँ से खरीदेगा? So, I'm coming back to your question. You're asking me that question, na? Now tell me, from where will it purchase that additional gold? From its piggy bank, from its buffer. It is saving money for a rainy day, na? So it has transferred that 3,000 rupees there. Using that money, it will purchase a additional gold. So I would say purchase 0.5 gram gold worth rupees 1,500 from its, yes, from its piggy bank, which is the buffer which it has maintained. Take your time. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Clear? So when RBI's issue department makes profit, what it will do? It will transfer the money to its piggy bank reserve. And when it wants to purchase assets to print note, it will use that particular buffer. That's it. Okay. Why did Urjit Patel resign? Any idea? Okay. I'll just give you a simple analogy. Remember, if you're a school going kid, right? Your parents are giving you pocket money every month and you are very stingy. Stingy as in like you're not spending money at all. You are saving that money in your piggy bank. Rose school se bhagte bhagte aake, first thing you're doing is put that money into piggy bank. Slowly, over a period of time, the piggy bank is getting filled. बचपन में you used to pick up the piggy bank, do like this. So we used to know how much it is filled. So you get to know that it is getting filled up. You become very happy. Someone in your family will also be very equally happy if your piggy bank is filled. If you have a sibling at a place, they will also be very happy, na? These siblings, they are very spendthrift. सब कुछ पैसा खर्च कर देते हैं. But you are saving money, your piggy bank is filled, they'll know, अच्छा, this person's piggy bank is getting filled, I'll get a share of that. RBI's piggy bank in 2018-19 was worth 10 lakh crores. You don't understand what is 10 lakh crore? 10 lakh crore is, I would say, direct tax collections of the government. You know direct tax collection? Income tax, corporate tax, if you add together income tax and corporate tax, that is the tax collection of the government in 1 year. That much money RBI had in 2018-19. Urjit Patel was very happy, just like you. Someone else was also equally happy. Who was that? Government. So government saw that Urjit Patel is having a lot of money. So government said, you have a lot of money, give me 1/3 of that. Urjit Patel said, no, I cannot give you that. Because if I give you my buffer, if I give you my money, why is RBI maintaining that money? Tell me. Because in future, if it wants to print money, it has to have money to purchase assets. Na? So Urjit Patel said, I cannot transfer it to you because I need this money to print notes. So that was one of the biggest bone of contention between the Urjit Patel, RBI governor, and the finance ministry. We'll discuss that later when I discuss the economic capital framework of RBI. Remember I dictated to you a list of topics. उसमें से एक topic है economic capital framework. Is it there as a start of your topic? है ना? Economic capital framework. We'll cover that in detail. Okay. So this is how RBI will earn profit from gold. स्वर्णिम और क्या एसेट होता है इश्यू डिपार्टमेंट का गोल्ड के अलावा? Foreign currency asset. How does it earn profit on foreign currency asset? And in what form foreign currency asset is in? नहीं ठीक है, करेंसी के अलावा और क्या है? In what form it is? Just see. Foreign currency asset is in what form? Bonds issued by foreign governments. Bonds have 3 characteristics. One is face value. Second one is maturity. Third क्या है? Coupon rate. If I am the issue department, if I have bought a treasury bond of US, for me the treasury bond, for me because I have purchased it, for me what it is? Asset. For the US government what it is? Liability. Every year US government has to pay me interest, which is a source of profit for me. Apart from that, third, government security. Government security is a bond issued by Indian government. 3 features: face value, maturity, coupon rate. So if I as a issue department, if I have purchased a government security, government will pay me interest on that. Clear? How does issue department earn profit? How much profit do you think it is must be earning every year? Kitna profit? Anyone? Huh? Last year, it earned a whopping profit of somewhere around 2.7 lakh crores. Last year. And if you don't know how much is 2.7 lakh crores, in 1 month, our GST tax collections throughout India is somewhere like 2 lakh crore. जो 1 महीने का GST tax collections throughout India is 2 lakh crore. उससे ज्यादा profit RBI कमाता है in 1 year. I hope you understood how much is the value. It's too much. So that is the amount of profit which issue department earns every year from its assets. So imagine how much is the assets of the issue department. 33 lakh crores. I told you. That is in the form of gold. That is in the form of foreign currency assets and so on. On that, it is earning huge profit. That profit it will transfer to the government, and certain profit it will keep with itself as a kind of buffer. Are we clear with that? Synergy का concept पता चला सबको? So please write down. हाँ हाँ हाँ. I'm not getting into detail in what form the buffer is mentioned and all those things, but just know, like, you earn money, you'll save that certain particular money so that it can come in handy during emergency situation. Same like that, RBI is having that kind of buffer, piggy bank. We'll come to that when I take up economic capital framework. Huh? No, it's not a liability, it's an asset for the government. They are not required to pay it, give it back to the RBI. Okay. How does issue department earn profit? Right. The issue department maintains assets. The issue department maintains assets for the printing of notes. For the printing of notes. Full stop. These assets are in the form of gold, foreign currency assets, and government securities. Full stop. Again, we'll discuss about the dividend transfer later in the economic capital framework. Don't worry. Just now understand the concept of seigniorage. Naman, I don't get your question. Please repeat your question once again. What is the last line? Next line. The issue department earns profit in the following ways. The issue department earns profit in the following ways. Number one, appreciation in the value of gold. Appreciation in the value of gold. Second, interest on foreign currency assets and government securities. Interest on foreign currency assets and government securities. Okay. So if you want, you can take this down. Just take this down, this example. No, nothing like that. So if you look at GDP, it is around 300 lakh crore. But the currency notes that we have printed is just 33 lakh crore. Nothing. It is nothing related to GNP. Yes, online students, do you have any doubts so far? Feel free to ask. हाँ भरत. ऐसे कभी होगा नहीं. हाँ. वेरी डिफिकल्ट. अगर आरबीआई जो पैसे प्रिंट करने का रोल है, अगर उसी के बाद पैसा नहीं है तो इट मीन्स वी आर डन. Imagine an entity which has to print money does not has money. It's very difficult. So that is why RBI will always maintain that reserves. कब? Germany का अलग situation. We'll discuss that when I take up the chapter of inflation. Is everyone clear? Hmm. Okay. Next topic you can write assets and liabilities of RBI. Assets and liabilities of RBI. Okay. Everyone has taken down? Hmm? Done? Anil done? Okay. Hmm. Huh. From where first time when did it, where from where did it come from, है ना? So I told you when RBI started its operations, it started with the initial capital of how much? 5 crores. From that is where it started its starting. Okay? Okay. So we are right discussing about assets and liabilities of RBI. So I told you in RBI there are basically two departments. Na? One is the issue department and the second one is the banking department. Okay. With respect to issue department, Anil, for the issue department, what is a liability? Yes, bank notes are the liability. Good. Okay. Aditya, can you tell me all the assets of the issue department? Good. Foreign currency assets and 1 rupee notes or coins. Okay. Okay. This is as far as the issue department is concerned. I think this is quite easy, no? Liability and assets. Same way, if I consider this from the perspective of the banking department, for banking department also there are liability and there are assets. Okay, everyone just pay attention. Let's say this is the banking department of the RBI. This banking department is giving loans. It is giving loans to the government. It is giving loans to the banks. I told you that RBI is like a banker to the banks as well as the government. When it gives loans to the government, it is called as, we'll discuss in detail in the next class, but please look at the name. It's called as ways and means advances. Ways and means advances. Advance का मतलब क्या है? Loan है. Ways and means advances. Understand, ways and means advances is nothing but loan which the RBI gives to the government. Is that clear? Same way, the banking department will also accept a deposit. From whom will it accept deposit? It will accept deposit from the government also. It will accept deposit from the banks also. The deposit which it accepts from the bank, there's a word to that. That is called as cash reserve ratio. Two technical terms. One is ways and means advances. It's a loan which the RBI gives to the government. Cash reserve ratio, it's a deposit which the RBI accepts from the banks. इस तरफ के क्या है? ये assets है. उस तरफ के क्या हो गए? Liabilities. So this side, I would say deposits from the government, deposits from the banks. This we call it as cash reserve ratio. Apart from that, this side, it will be loans to the government, which we say as ways and means advances. Then we also have loans to the banks. Okay. We have gold, foreign currency asset, government securities with the issue department. Remember I showed you that annual report of RBI where I showed you the asset of the issue department. Gold के बाद क्या लिखा था वहां पे? ID. So gold which is with the issue department, उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? Gold ID. Foreign currency assets ID. Government securities ID. Same way, even banking department would have its own gold. But यहां पे क्या लिखेंगे? We'll write BD, banking department. Same, foreign currency assets, banking department, or government securities, banking department. These assets are with the issue department. Similar to that, you have a asset with the banking department. But understand, the gold with the issue department belongs to issue department. The gold which belongs to banking department remains with the banking department. आसान है ये तो, you know this. यहां पे मैंने कुछ एडिशन नहीं बताया. I just showed you a diagram where banking department is accepting deposit, banking department is giving out loans. When it accepts deposit for the banking department becomes a liability. When it gives loans for the banking department becomes an asset. I just told you two keywords, technical terms. One is Weighs means advances. Second one is cash reserve ratio. That's it. You're done with assets and liability of RBI now. Okay, please take this down. They are with the banking department only, separately maintained. Huh? How do they? Even the banking department also makes profit, no? When it gives loans to the government, on that it gets interest. When it gives loans to the banks, it gets interest. So that is also a source of profit. Harshik, when I said that assuming no additional printing of notes, it means that we did not print any new notes. Last year, 3,000 rupees notes was printed and put into circulation, right? So the amount of notes in circulation is still 3,000 only, no? It has not increased or decreased. It is still 3,000. No additional means no money was printed. Clear, Harshik? Please respond if it is clear to you. Naman, like I said, it is not going to happen that RBI will not have any buffer at all. RBI will always maintain buffer. Ishpreet, which first point are you talking about? Ishpreet, please tell me which first point. Harshik, let me know if you understood. Is this clear? Okay. हाँ, वो किसी की भी हमारे लिए तो असेट है, गवर्नमेंट के लिए कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं है उसका. बट जनरली लीगली स्पीकिंग वी से हु आर इशूइंग दिस नोट फॉर देम इट्स अ लायबिलिटी, बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ओके, it is a liability. Legally speaking, it's a liability of the government. Though nothing is mentioned there, कि I promise to pay the bearer, but it is always a liability of the government. Okay. Ishpreet, please let me know what's the first point that you're talking about. हाँ, यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Right there, cash reserve ratio. Right after this note, cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio refers to the deposits. Cash reserve ratio refers to the deposits maintained by the banks with the RBI. Cash reserve ratio refers to the deposits maintained by the banks with the RBI. Next line, ways and means advances. Ways and means advances. refers to the loans given by the RBI to the government. Ways and means advances refers to the loans given by the RBI to the government. हाँ, तो just understand, I've just introduced to you two terms, ways and means advances and CRR. If I get into the topic of CRR, which is in the next chapter, it will take me at least half an hour. Ways and means advances also half an hour. But as of now, just know the meaning of these two terms. Please look at the question. How many of the following are considered as assets of the RBI? Which is that? Ways and means advances. Good. RBI's liabilities. Varun? Huh? Which two, Varun? Governments deposit with the RBI and currency in circulation, loans to the center and state, assets, government securities is also asset. So answer is only two. Asan hai? Okay. Next, write 1 rupee note. I just need 5 more minutes. Write 1 rupee note. 1 rupee note. Okay. Quickly have a look at this. For 1 rupee note, the nodal agency for printing that is Government of India. I've already told you that. And that is under the RBI Act 1934. Printing of banknote and printing of 1 rupee note, both is provided under the same act, RBI Act 1934. Design and material decided by the government. In case of banknote, recommended by central board, approved by central government. We'll come to this part later. Even though 1 rupee note is printed by the government, it is distributed by who? RBI, always. Is 1 rupee a legal tender? Yes, it is a legal tender just like your banknote. But if you see what is the nature of legal tender? Nature of legal tender means it is a limited legal tender. So we are now getting into a new concept of what exactly is the meaning of limited legal tender. Okay? Just 1 minute, quickly take this down in a form of mind map. Do not worry about that printing press. वो blank छोड़ देना. Do not write anything about printing press. We'll discuss that part later. Don't worry about it. Did I say in the class about the RBI governors, who was the first RBI governor, first Indian RBI governor? Done? Everyone is done? It's already 8:10. Let me continue with this topic tomorrow, because it's going to take me time to explain to you what is limited legal tender. We'll discuss that tomorrow's class. ठीक है? हाँ भरत. हाँ. नहीं है, इट्स नॉट अ रियल सेक्टर. हाँ, बट जहाँ पे मनी फ्लो हो रहा है ना, दैट वी डोंट कॉल इट एज अ रियल सेक्टर. जहाँ पे, हाँ हाँ, जहाँ पे मनी फ्लो होता है, दैट इज नॉट अ रियल सेक्टर. जहाँ पे गुड्स फ्लो होना चाहिए, देन ओनली इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ रियल सेक्टर. इज दैट पार्ट क्लियर टू एवरीवन? ओके. सो देयर आर समथिंग अबाउट आरबीआई गवर्नर. एक बार लिख लेना 2-3 पॉइंट्स. आई थिंक आई मस्ट हैव ऑलरेडी डिक्टेटेड टू यू अबाउट द सेंट्रल बोर्ड ऑफ आरबीआई ना. याद है? So under that only can write some points. Central Board of RBI. For benefit of all, for any doubts, especially for the online students, I have already given my number. For any doubts, please contact me on this number. Huh. So for the RBI governor, right? The first RBI governor, the first Indian RBI governor, the first Indian RBI governor was Mr. C.D. Deshmukh. The first Indian RBI governor was Mr. C.D. Deshmukh. Second, the longest serving RBI governor, the longest serving RBI governor was Mr. Benegal Ramarao, the longest serving RBI governor. And I must have told you about the person who was like RBI governor, finance minister, and prime minister of India, Manmohan Singh. Not really important as far as your UPSC exam is concerned, but if you're writing some other exams like state civil services exam and all those things, though there such questions might become important. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow, and in tomorrow's class we'll look into the next part of RBI, that is role of RBI as a debt manager. Okay, thank you so much.